Hello everybody, I'm back with another knife review, and as promised, here is the review of the AG Russell Acies. Alright, so let's start with the specs. So let's pull it up here. Closed right now is a 4.5 inch length. The blade length is a 3 5/8 inch. Overall, it's going to be right around the 8 inch length. It weighs in at 4.8 ounces. The steel uses a ZDP 189. It's a full flat ground and it's made in the USA. All right, so let's start with the size here as always. So if I put it in the middle of my hand, you can tell it's a decent sized knife. It's pretty average. As I turn it over, you see about 1/2 inch sticks out on each side. Ergonomic wise, it feels very good in hand. A lot of handle real estate, by the way, and not only handle real estate, but a lot of blade real estate. So it feels very, very good in hand. And when I mean blade real estate, I mean good blade to handle ratio as well. So look at where the blade ends on here. First of all, it's perfectly centered, and and the blade almost goes to the very end of the handle. So very, very nice. And case in point, let me bring out my Sage 2. You notice how the blade doesn't quite get to the very end of the handle here. So if Spyderco wanted to, they could have made a slightly longer blade. So at any rate. So this is a very, very nice feeling knife in the hand, and like I said, and because this has thicker titanium scales too. Let me go and zoom in, and I can show you the thicker titanium scales here. So let's go ahead and bring out the Sage 2 here. Both of them are TI frame locks, and you can tell on the side-by-side comparison, on my right is the Acies with the slightly thicker titanium handle scales, and on my left, obviously, the Spyderco Sage 2. And because of this, subsequently, the Sage feels very thin in the hand versus the Acies. Now, ergonomic wise, the Sage 2 is going to feel a lot better in your hands because of the dual choils and the thumb wrap and the very, very nicely curved handle. The Acies is going to be beat by that, I'm sorry, but the Acies overall is still a very nice feeling knife in the hand. And the only thing that beats it is the slight the girth on the handle here. It just fills your hand a lot better than the Spyderco Sage 2 does. All right, now that we're zoomed in, let's go and show you some more things about this knife. So it does have a lanyard hole, and the really cool thing is this very simplistic knife. It's a construction. I mean, it's only held on by the pivot and the one pillar in the back. That's it. The rest is all open, you know, and which is the same story for the AG Russell spear point also. See, very simplistic. This is just the pillar in the back and the pivot. So I really like these kind of designs. Very simple, very good engineering, and the handle feels very, very good in the hands. This is a stop pin. This little circle here, so you can tell it's very huge. Let me show you the pocket clip. Pocket clip is a low ride like SOGs, very similar to SOGs. But see, the one thing about the pocket clip is very thick. So you notice that the pocket clip is almost like about half the width of the entire knife. And at first I thought, well, this is going to get in the way. Not really. See, when I hold on to it, the bevel goes right goes right underneath my finger, so it's perfect, you know. And even if this pocket clip was moved to the tail end of it, if you were to grip it, your pinky falls in the same part of the bevel. So really, this does not get in the way. So my worries were completely diffused by that. Very, very good design. Thank you, AG Russell. But unfortunately, especially for lefties, is this is not tapped on the other side, so you just got to sell for right-handed carry, tip up, tip down. Now this thing has a Rick Hinderer licensed lock stop, and good thing it does, because this is the one con I have against this knife right here. Watch as I disengage the lock bar. You see that? I'm giving it very, very little pressure, and it's moving. All right. Now let me show you the Sage 2 here. I'm gonna do the same thing with the Sage 2. Watch. See, the lock bar doesn't move at all? Yeah. So this is a very stiff locking bar, you know. Now, what was so weird about this locking bar is that when I pulled up the AG Russell spear point, watch this. See, it barely moves too, you know. So and I'm doing the same thing now. But see, look, it has a lot more material here for the bend, and see, whereas this is very thin, like they just shaved it down a lot. But you know, so that, at least that had me worried at first. But you know what? The beautiful thing about a frame lock is that when you're holding onto the knife, your fingers act as a locking bar stop anyways. Because as long as you're gripping the knife, the locked bar has nowhere to go. So it's not going to be a huge deal. I don't really think this will fold on me. But it was just something weird. I thought, you know, for such an expensive knife, I thought that this would be a little bit stiffer. So luckily, the lock stop is there because I feel like I could just bend it right out. Anyway, let's keep moving here. The blade here, as I move it close to the camera, it says ZDP 189 right here on the blade. It's AG Russell, USA. Nothing is written on the back of it. Now look at this awesome tall blade. I mean, this is a lot of blade. This is kind of like a Spyderco, you know, size, thickness, you know, tall. You know, it's actually even larger. It kind of looks like it. It's a full flat ground like that Spyderco and like many Spydercos. So this is a slicer. It's very, very sharp. I was slicing boxes all day long with it yesterday, and it, you know, no touch up is needed at all. It's very, very nice. Comes to a nice point. They took a small swedge out of both sides here, so it thins the tip of the blade down for good for piercing. It's very sharp there. If anybody's noticed the thumb studs resemble Kershaw's, I think somebody commented on my unboxing video, does these look like Kershaw thumb studs? You'd be right, because per the forums, this knife was manufactured by Kershaw for AG Russell. So as long as you get your thumb at the angle that the thumb stud is set, it comes out every single time, smooth as butter. And I actually mean that this is very, very comparable to the smoothness of the Ken Onion Ripple. I'm not saying that to be kind. I'm really saying that it's just really true. It's awesome. This thing is so smooth. I have no clue what they put in here, but it's very, very nice. Here, let me just show you really quick. Zoom out. Watch this. No wrist flick. See how quick this blade comes out? It's unbelievable. Look at that. I'm barely giving it any force at all. Left and right. See? Just awesome. Now, at first, this pocket clip got in the way of me closing it left-handed, but I slowly got used to it. And if it is a problem, obviously, you just move the pocket clip to the tail end of it, or remove it altogether. But yeah, very awesome. God, this knife is so smooth. So let me put this down and bring up the full-size Griptilian for you. And let's go and even these out a little bit here. There we go. And new to my reviews, I have a mini grip as well. Now this is my ideal carry size, and this is my idea of an average size knife. So let's set the Acies in the middle here, and you notice that the Acies dwarfs both the knives. The Acies actually longer in length than the full-size Griptilian. So that may be a deterrent for some who want to actually carry this knife around, because it's very long, you know, and with some certain blade laws in certain states and cities, you know, it may not be something you want to carry around, but don't get me wrong, this is an excellent, excellent knife. Now, what I wish I did have is a Sebenza to compare with this knife, because it's very, very comparable to the Sebenza. First of all, the price point is about the same as some models of Sebenzas, and in some cases, it's actually cheaper than a Sebenza. And the one main huge difference is the fact that this has a larger blade, and it uses a slightly better steel. So ZDP 189 as compared to the S30V. Now, not that S30V is anything to sneeze at. Obviously, it's a very, very good premium steel. All right, but spec-wise, this has a slightly better steel. Now, until I can hold on to Sebenza, a real Sebenza, and handle it, I can't really say much about in terms of comparison. But I will say, for the price point, spec-wise, this is a very, very good buy. I highly recommend it, and you can find these off at agrussell.com. All right, and yeah, I mean, I'm very, very happy with it. It swings out very, very smoothly. It's a very heavy-duty knife. Feels very good in the hand, and I mean, just fills your entire hand out. Where there's the foregrip or reverse grip, I mean, this is a very, very good knife. You know, highly recommended by me. So anyway, this is my review of the AG Russell Acies, and we'll catch you guys on the very next one. Take care, everybody.